Welcome to the Ingress Insights podcast, hosted by PkmnTrainerJ. Ingress Insights is a podcast about the Niantic game Ingress. Listen each week for the latest news, updates and rumours. Let us know your thoughts by leaving a voice message or emailing us at the links in the show notes.
Additional intel available.
Hello agents, and welcome to episode 82 of the Ingress Insights podcast. In this week's episode, we're going with the Yokosuka anomaly results for the plus alpha anomaly that's just happened there, as well as details of the AMER bounty blitz and the APAC shard skirmish locations, as well as general Ingress news including the Valentine's Day event that happened. Then there's a little bit of Wayfarer news to get through as well, and I do also have a few little podcast updates before we get into the main bulk of the episode. So I'll get on with those little podcast updates first of all.
Hey, this is Sim, Global Product Marketing Lead for Peridot, and you're listening to Ingress Insights.
The main bit of general podcast news is that we have an upcoming interview on the Ingress Insights podcast with Erin Fitzgerald. You may know her better as Carrie Campbell in Ingress, which is a variety of voice roles and other work. I will post a link to the Reddit thread where she's agreed to take community questions. Obviously, I'll go through my own questions with her, but you can expect that later next month. One thing I'm also doing to try and extend the reach of the podcast is starting an email newsletter, so that'll go out every day that there's the podcast episode released, and I'll have details in about the episode, some behind the scenes stuff and stuff that I'm planning. So I'll include a link to that in the show notes if you want to sign up. You don't have to use your real name when you sign up, it's just required text boxes by the service I'm using. Put in whatever you want in there. Then finally, again, to try and extend the reach of the podcast, something I had done was set up a Facebook page for Ingress Insights. That's unfortunately been taken down at the moment due to impersonation, apparently. So it got flagged for that. Whether people think it's the proper Ingress page, I don't think so. But it's been flagged for that. I'm trying to get it back. But if you are searching for it on Facebook, it's no longer there. And then finally, just my general gameplay news for the week. So as I mentioned last podcast, it was Second Sunday, and I intended to do it, got scans ready. Unfortunately, I was an idiot and I failed doing Second Sunday because I only got 4 new Scout Controller things done. So I didn't get my Second Sunday mail because I had no Machina around me to destroy either. So maybe next time will be Silver Second Sunday for me. Didn't achieve it this time because I didn't check what things had Scout Controller and what I didn't. So I uploaded 4. Got 4 new Scout Controllers but not 5, which was needed for the badge. But never mind, try next time. And then finally on my gameplay progress, I managed to get the Platinum Connector medal. I'd been mentioning that in previous episodes. That's for doing a certain amount of links. So I'll try and aim for Onyx now on that, and then figure out what badge I should be aiming for next. I don't think I'm particularly close on any other badges. Maybe Spec Ops, because I've got 50 missions and 100 for the next level on there. So I might look at doing that and see if I can do a couple of missions when I'm out and about in other places. But that's it for general podcast news. I just wanted to put that up front firstly. And now we'll get into the anomaly news about the Plus Alpha Anomaly series.
This is Shimon, former community manager for the Witcher Monster Slayer, and you're listening to Ingress Insights.
The first anomaly for the Plus Alpha series was this weekend, so it was in Yokosuka. If you've seen anything in relation to the game played in Yokosuka, you can know that there were massive adverts at the stations and beer that was created and ice cream that was made. I'll link to all those kind of things. You could buy Enlightened and Machina and Resistance ice cream at the port, so that was great. I can't remember the flavours off the top of my head, but I will link to those and share those. They looked very nice. As mentioned, there was massive adverts at the station asking people to download Ingress, and adverts say the anomaly was happening. So it's a lot more than we ever get over here in the UK, especially. I don't remember anything at the Echo Anomaly in Brighton to say that an event was happening in comparison to something like Pokemon Go Fest. When I went to that in London, there were signs saying that was going on. So hopefully we get more advertising for non-Japanese events. That would be very nice. And now I'm going to get into the score, so I'll just tell you the main overall score first of all and then go into the other scores. So in Yokosuka, the total points scored were 151.4 points to Enlightened and 60.6 points to Resistance. So that means that Enlightened won Yokosuka. To just break that down a little bit as well, Stealth Ops, the Enlightened got 2.3 points, Resistance got 4.7, so Resistance won Stealth Ops. Resistance also won Urban Ops, getting 5 points there, versus Enlightened's 2 points. Before I get into the shard battle things, I'm not really sure what happened here, because there's a lot of no scoring, so either lots of people fighting and just didn't end up being scored, or people on either side not bothering. I don't know, it looks very weird to me as an outsider. I'm sure someone that was at the Anomaly can explain in more details what actually happened there. So the first wave of shards, no points to either faction. The second wave, Enlightened got 2 points, Resistance got 0. The third wave, Enlightened got 4, one of which was unscored, Resistance got 0. Wave 4, Enlightened got 2, Resistance got 0. Wave 5 and 6 were 0 points to either faction on there. So that meant from the Shard battle it was 93 points to Enlightened. Resistance unfortunately got 0 points there. Then for the Beacon battle, the total score for that, I'm not going through all the waves on that one because they're a bit more varied, but the total points were 51.6 to Enlightened versus 41.4 points Resistance. So it was a bit closer on the Beacon battle. There were also a few covert caches that were claimed, so Enlightened got 2 common percentage boosts, Resistance got 1 very rare percentage boost, and Enlightened got 1 rare season point drop, and Resistance got 2 season point drops, 1 which was rare and 1 which was very rare. As a reminder, if you are the agent that got those covert caches, do upload them to the website ingress.plus just to keep a track record of what media we've had in the game. Some people do enjoy looking at the media, so it'd be nice to see the covert cache stuff that came through on there. So yes, overall it was a win at that anomaly for the Enlightened with 151.4 points. We have also had the first bounty blitz for this season, so this was just for the AMER region. So if you're not in that region, you won't have seen anything up on your scanner, but if you have, you would have seen it come up in your dispatch screen. And this tasks you with completing as many bounties as you can. So the bounties were capturing any 40 portals, creating 20 links, uploading 5 portal scans, earning 20 overclock hack points, and earning 80 glyph hack points. And each bounty roars 1,331 AP, and you need to complete at least 2 bounties to claim the assignment and restart the campaign. And each completed bounty scored extra points for your faction for the season points. So you still contribute even if you aren't at the XM Anomalous and help your faction out. There will be ones for the EMEA region and the APAC region. So EMEA have theirs next weekend on the 22nd of February to coincide with the US Anomaly. And then the APAC region have got theirs on the 22nd of March to coincide with the Anomaly in Italy. As mentioned, this one is now concluded. So it was reported on the scanner that Enlightened got 47 points versus Resistance 53 points. So that means the season score is now 295.6 points to Enlightened versus 216.4 points to Resistance. So there's not much in it on there. There's only about 80 points separating the scores there, so it could all change based on the 2 upcoming Anomalies and the 2 upcoming Bounty Blitzes. So if you are at the Anomaly, make sure you're doing all you can for your faction. If you can't attend, make sure you're completing as many bounties as possible when it comes to your region. And then we'll see who comes out on top for the Plus Alpha Anomaly series after the final one concludes on the 22nd of March. And then for our final bit of Anomaly news, the skirmishes have been announced for the APAC region, so these are happening on March the 8th, starting at 4 PM local time. And just to note, there's no beacon skirmishes this time round, they're all shard skirmishes. So as usual, I'm going to apologise for if I get any of these location names wrong. Feel free to correct me on social media, send me a message and let me know how to say it so I know for next time. They are happening in Almaty in Kazakhstan, Gali in Sri Lanka, Auckland, New Zealand, Bangkok, Thailand, Petaling Jaya, Malaysia, Jakarta, Indonesia, Canberra, Australia, Daegu, South Korea, Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam, Kagoshima, Japan, Zhubei, Taiwan, Donggang, Taiwan, and Baguio in the Philippines. So those are all the ones that are happening, and at those you can obtain the Anomaly Medal by competing in the Shard Skirmish. which, as I've said before, is sort of like a mini anomaly that you do. So it's always good to get involved if you can get to those regions and attend and see what you can do to help out your faction and score points there again to help turn the tide in the anomaly or strengthen your lead in the anomaly, whichever side you're on. That is it for the anomaly news, so I'm going to move into some general Ingress news now.
What's up? This is Smooth Guy O, and you listen to the Ingress Insight podcast.
First of all, there's some news that kind of bridges the gap between anomaly news and regular Ingress news. It's not scoring any anomaly points. However, it is happening in Yokosuka during the anomaly weekend as well. The Ingress team wrote, NIA researchers have detected a shard battle of unknown potential in Mikasa Park in Yokosuka, Japan on 16th February 3:30pm to 4:30pm. Mobilize, engage, investigate and contain. Note this shard battle does not impact Plus Alpha season scores, and a restocking portal will be available in Mikasa Park from 3:20pm to 4:30pm. From what I've read, some agents reported there were issues during the shard battle at the anomaly, so it's believed Ingress is kind of fine-tuning it and testing it whilst they're still all there, presumably in Japan, and seeing what they can do to make it better for upcoming events. So if you're attending in the US or the future upcoming ones, it may be tweaked and changed for what happens at the shard battle, but we've yet to see that conclude and find out what happens. But once I do know any more and if there's any changes, I'll update here and let you all know. The Valentine's Day 2025 event was happening on Ingress a few days ago, so that was called Link Laugh Love, and asked you to do 3 bounties and rewarded you 214 AP for being the 14th of February in American dates for completing 3 bounties. The 3 bounties that were available were create 2 links, which gave you 1 hypercube, and then create 21 links and gave you 1 very rare heatsink, and creating 214 links gave you 1 very rare multi-hack, again for it being the 14th February in the quid state the Americans do. Would have been worse, I suppose it could have been 412 links, sorry 142 links, that would have been better maybe if it was right around. I didn't do all of those, I just did the first one and got a hypercube. I don't think I had enough around me to do 21 links for it being a work day and Valentine's Day. I don't know how many agents did it. There were also 2 badges available on the store that have now gone off. So one of those was a Misty Hannah 2025 Valentine's, which cost 30,800 CMU. Came with the Misty Hannah Valentine's 2025 badge, 5 kinetic capsules and 2 portal fracas. The other one was the Plus Alpha Valentine's Day Supporter Medal Kit. Again, 30,800 CMU, and that came with, again, 5 kinetic capsules and 2 portal fracas. Honestly, I didn't buy either of them, but I know so many agents did. It's obviously up to you what you spend your CMU and your money on. In addition, the regular Misty Hannah 2025 bundle, again for the regular Misty Hannah badge with, you guessed it, 5 rare kinetic capsules and 2 portal fracas for 30,800 CMU, is in the store, and that will go away at some point, and then all the badges come back at the end of March, so you can snag any that you've missed on there. I don't think that the Plus Alpha Valentine or the Misty Hannah 2025 Valentines will come back. The Misty Hannah one might come back next year as a special purchase one, but I don't think the other ones will come back, particularly because they are linked to the Plus Alpha Anomaly series rather than just general Valentine's Day stuff. But yes, that was our Valentine's Day event. It was a bit lackluster, maybe, in comparison to other Niantic games, but at least they're trying, I suppose. Give them feedback, and hopefully next year will be a bit better. The next bit of Ingress news I wanted to cover is that an agent called Cronan messaged me about updates on the Google Play Store. So if you check the Ingress app on the Google Play Store, you'll be able to see that it mentions the Plus Alpha Anomaly event is on, and that it's currently active and running. I've seen other apps do this on the App Store, so they'll say that a certain event is coming up and you can set a reminder to know when it starts. I find it quite handy for other games like Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery or Jurassic World Alive when there's a new pass that comes in, things like that. So I'm hoping it gets added to the App Store at some point. For now, it's useful to see for any new agents downloading the game what's going on right now, so they know to kind of dive in and they can get more information. So I think it's a good update and something that I hope evolves in the future. Then rounding off the Ingress news, just a few technical issues. So on the 14th of February, there was an issue with Facebook login for various Niantic services, including the Ingress Intel map. This meant that Ingress users who only have Facebook as a login to the Intel map were unable to log in and use the map. So I'd advise having at least one other additional login method, such as Google. We also did things like the Pokemon Go web store and the Pikmin Bloom web store. I think it was to do with the barrier of Niantic ID first and then logging in and then logging in with Facebook that way. If it was just a straight Facebook login, it didn't seem to have any issues. However, it did get resolved the following day, so you'd be having no issues now. But if you've seen any more reporting issues in the past couple of days, that'd be why. And then sticking with the social media theme, Niantic support, who are usually only reachable on Twitter /X whatever it's called now, have joined Instagram. So you can follow their page on Instagram, which I'll link to in the show notes. And it shows you how to raise a ticket in the various Niantic games, and does say that you can tag them if you do have any issues. So if you experience some issues, do tag them. I believe they'll reach out to you, whether it's via DM or a comment or anything like that. I've not seen yet, but I think they only got set up a few days ago, so they're probably not messaged many users yet. If you don't feel like going on to Twitter to get help and support, you can then use Instagram instead and follow that account and get some help there. So that about ties up the regular Ingress news. So what I'll move on to now is some Wayfarer news, and you may want to listen to a bit about Foursquare portals as well, and further details on that, and a few other little Niantic points to go through too.
Hi, this is HP Bulola, and you're listening to the Ingress Insights podcast.
Firstly, for Wayfarer news, we are still waiting for the next cohort of Wayfarer ambassadors to be announced. I'm guessing that will probably be next month now, because we're getting close to the end of February. In the meantime, though, on the Wayfarer forums, they seem to have activated a new feature where you can use AI to summarise a topic. This is quite handy for topics that have gone on for quite a while, like the UK Postbox topic or the Power Spots topic, to get a quick summary of what's happening and what's going on, and any posts that highlight important things on there. If you can't be bothered, it gives you a basic too long didn't read to go through and get the highlights. So I've used it a couple of times, and it's just a little shiny looking button at the end of each topic. If they are longer, I don't think they're enabled for ones that are 2 or 3 posts, but once they get over a certain number, you can click that, get a summary. It's quite handy. It's not really a Wayfarer thing, but it is on the Wayfarer forums under their discourse forums, so I just wanted to highlight it there. And then a final one for Wayfarer news. We announced back on a previous episode that the VPS activation pilot had started, and some people have been invited to that. We've now been informed that the VPS activators pilot is now closed, and that Niantic Thibs said, "We'd like to express our sincere gratitude to all those who participated in the pilot. Your engagement and feedback have been invaluable in helping us evaluate the programme's effectiveness and potential for broader implementation." I have no idea what this means now, and whether there'll be other pilots in the future, or whether they'll just review the data that's been provided and see what they do next. Personally, I think it'd be great if I could activate things for overclock inside Ingress once they hit a certain number, or send them for activation. Even if it was like I could only send 1 a day, or one agent could send 2 a day, whatever, things like that, so that we get more portals activated for overclock. I know there's the Pokemon Go Playgrounds feature, which I've used a bit, and I don't see the point of it so far. Maybe that'll evolve in future as well. But I'll be interested to see what they do with the data from there, and where VPS goes for Wayfarer, Ingress, and their other games. Sorry folks, I have to correct myself. I do have one last bit of Wayfarer related news, the bit that I mentioned in the start. So there was a topic posted on the 11th of February by the user Dinesh Valor, and they noted it appealed to restore Portal /Wayspot back into Ingress. They gave the Wayspot titles on there, as well as the coordinates, and put the additional information I previously contributed to these Wayspots, such as adding a photo, description fixing, scanning, and the VPS activating. For right now, I can only track down the above mentioned Wayspots in the real world. So I looked on this topic myself on some of the coordinates they provided, and I found one that was the Sun Plaza Hotel, and mentioned that obviously the Ingress team decided to remove all the Wayspots from India and other places that are imported from Foursquare. This is the difficult situation we've talked about before, where the waste spots still exist in the system, but Ingress doesn't want them, even if they're updated with new pictures, everything like that. They decided for whatever reason they don't want the imports. I know on a previous topic, one agent said that appealing these should go to the Wayfarer forum so they could do something about it, and I always kind of doubted whether they could do anything, because as far as Wayfarer is concerned, the waste spot still exists in the system. Niantic Aaron did reply a day later to say these waste spots are not eligible to appear in Ingress, and there's nothing we can do to bring these back in Ingress. So if we do want waste spots like that to come back into the game, then it's a case of raising them on the Ingress app and asking them to restore them back. Whether they will or not, I don't know, but it's worth asking the question and seeing if they can bring them back, especially if they've had photos and stuff added. But if you try to add one of these that did already exist in the database, they'd be marked correctly in Wayfarer as a duplicate, because even though it doesn't show in Ingress, it still does exist in the Wayfarer/Niantic spatial database. So whoever's reviewing it would be correct to say yes, it's a duplicate. This final bit of news isn't Wayfarer related, but I thought I'd tack it on the end here before wrapping things up. So on the 13th of February, Niantic posted on their blog about supporting LA communities. They wrote, "The wildfires in the Los Angeles area have been incredibly destructive, impacting hundreds of thousands of people, including many Niantic game players. From February 21st to 23rd, we will host an in-person Pokemon Go event at Rose Bowl Stadium and Brookside Golf Course in Pasadena. We believe it's important to use this opportunity to give back to those impacted, and we want to share our plans with you to support the local community during this challenging time." So they noted Niantic and the Pokemon Company Group will donate a collective $1 million to non-profit organizations supporting relief efforts for those impacted by the LA wildfires. Niantic will contribute $500,000 to the California Community Foundation, the Latino Community Foundation, the Pasadena Community Foundation, the Los Angeles Regional Food Bank. They include a link to find out about the Pokemon Company Group's commitment as well, and then we will look forward to finding more ways to support the community as needs arise, and we look forward to seeing many of you in Pasadena. I just wanted to include this. I don't normally tack things on about current events, because by myself I use podcasts to escape from the real world for a little bit, so I don't want to hear things about the US election, bad things going on, unless it's what I'm listening to the podcast for. If I'm listening to a politics podcast, of course that's going to come up, but it's not what I use them for, so I try not to include real world events on there when they're not relevant to the games. But I thought this was worth highlighting, that Niantic are contributing towards the communities that have been devastated by these events. That seems a bit of a sour note, but I'm going to get on to wrapping things up now.
This is Jessica Jung, lead producer of Peridot, and you're listening to Ingress Insights.
That's all from Ingress Insights for this week. Next weekend we've got another XM Anomaly, as well as the EMEA Bounty Blitz going on, and then whatever other events the Ingress team decide to throw at us. I don't think we'll get anything massive before the end of the month, but who knows. We'll also then look at what the Ingress team is doing for events in March, because that's going to get started pretty soon, and you've got a bonus episode about Kinetic Capitals coming up on the 28th. So at the end of the month. As mentioned, I've got a few bonus episodes that are scheduled up at the end of the month. I've got a few backed up just in case for whatever reason I can't do a podcast episode that week that I can then release. This one was a little late just because I've had issues with my teeth. I had a bit of pain from that and basically slept most of Saturday to recover. So it's a bit later on. I was really knackered by the end of that. So we should be back to normal next week when we go through all those details. So do look forward to that, and do please share the podcast with people you think might enjoy it, and anyone you think might listen, and do rate the podcast if you can. It always helps out to get extra ratings on there so that we get more listens and so we climb up the charts, that kind of thing. I'm also now fastly approaching getting 100 episodes out, so not episode 100, but this will be the 93rd bit of audio basically I've uploaded. So I've got 3 bonus episodes scheduled, so at least 96. So it won't take long before someone views the Ingress Insights podcast feed and sees there's 100 things to go through. So that'll be very nice for me. That's all from me for this week as Said Agents. Hope you all have a great Sunday and rest of your day. Happy hacking. Thank you, agents, for listening to the latest episode of the Ingress Insights podcast. If you'd like to follow us on social media, you can do that on a few channels. So on Threads under the name ingress.insights, on Instagram under the name ingress.insights as well. Twitter/X, which posts episodes of the podcast, is under Ingress Insights, no dot in that one. And you can also watch these episodes on YouTube under Ingress Insights Podcast. You can send us a voice message by visiting the podcaster's Spotify page. And finally, you can buy Ingress Insights merch, such as mugs, pins, t-shirts, by going to freepublic.com/user/ingress-insights. And on there, you'll see all the designs that we've got listed at the moment. There are some new ones that will be coming up at some point soon. But you can buy your Ingress Insights mug, hats, t-shirts, tote bags, anything like that you want. Thank you again for listening. Hope you tune in next week. If you do like the show, please do rate it on the podcast service you're listening to. I look forward to speaking with you all about Ingress again.
Intel package transferred.